My grandpa was 17 years old. He hopped on a train from Elmira to Buffalo, New York. He lied about his age to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. Through the GI Bill, he was able to go to Harper's College and get a bachelor's degree in political science. He worked at a bank, Marine Midland, and he worked there until he retired. By all means, it's the American dream, you know. You start from nothing and end up being able to take care of your family. My dad, his son, because of the sacrifices my grandfather made, his opportunities were much more abundant. He was able to go to Duke and he got an MBA, and that opened even more doors for myself and my siblings. My siblings and I were blessed to be able to have a conversation that went like, what college do you want to go to? Rather than, do you want to go to college? And that is a blessing, you know? Like, some people would kill just to get into any university. So being able to have options as to which university we wanted to go to is serious. That is a blessing, and I don't take it for granted. I went to St. Bonaventure University. I studied finance. I got my undergrad in 3 years. I had a good time, but when I was getting ready to graduate and I was doing my internships and I even accepted a full-time offer to work at a bank, like my grandpa did, something felt missing. The idea of spending majority of my waking hours in an office wasn't appealing to me. I didn't want to have to be somewhere at a certain time and have to do something during that time, and I recognize how privileged that is to be able to say that, but I wanted more. It's not that I don't want to work, it's not that I don't want to work hard or build something. I do. I work really hard and I love building stuff. It just felt wrong having to do it on someone else's terms. I wanted to do it on my own terms, in my own way. I'm not trying to knock anyone who works a 9-to-5 or who worked their ass off to go through college and now works their ass off during their job. Like, I commend you, I salute you. Like my grandfather and my dad, like, that's awesome. I just recognize I don't know if I can do that. I played sports growing up and in high school, and I won't lie, I was frequently on the bench. And you can argue that that's still part of the team and that that's important, and when you go in, you know, you do the best you can, and sure, I respect that perspective, but I don't want to sit on the bench anymore. If I were to get a 9-to-5 and like work in Excel all day, don't get me wrong, like I could do it. I could probably do it as well as the people who already do it. But I just feel like I would have so much potential that's being wasted. The kids on the bench, I mean, again, if you have that perspective where it's like, this is my part and I'm doing my role, like, I salute you, that's awesome, you know, that's a good perspective. But me, when I was on the bench, I wanted to play. I wanted to get in the game. I wanted some action, you know, like, I was bored. I felt underutilized, underappreciated, and I felt like I had more to offer and give. For me, I feel like a 9 to 5 job is almost the equivalent of sitting on that bench. Like, don't get me wrong, you're a part of the team and it would pay for the bills, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's by all means considered the American dream, but it felt so empty to me. Like, some people, they want to do the bare minimum and mail it in, and they're fine with that, you know? Like a 9 to 5, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock anyone who does a 9 to 5 or say like they don't do a lot. They do a lot. They do something I can't do myself, you know, which is show up for 8 hours a day and just put your head down. I'm just saying that for me, showing up for 8 hours a day, mailing it in, doing whatever your boss or manager tells you to do, and then calling it a day, felt hollow and it felt empty, and I felt like I wanted more. That's not to say some jobs aren't really cool or push you to your absolute limit, you know? And if you work a job like that, that's awesome. I'm really glad you were able to find something that works for you, but I wasn't able to find that. I originally was going to do investment banking, where you work 80 hours a week, 80 to 100 hours, you know? Pretty much all of your waking hours would be in that office building. Doing what? Like, seriously, doing what? Like, mergers and acquisitions, helping the biggest companies in the world get bigger? Like, you might occasionally work on an interesting deal or work for an interesting company, but I feel like if I'm doing that, I'm sitting on the bench, and I could be doing so much more to help people, to add value to the world, to change things. I believe the free markets are one of the most efficient ways to spread love, you know? You can build something that touches billions of people and it can improve their lives, and that's awesome. And I wanted a bigger role than just sitting on a bench, you know? I wanted to take charge and take it by the reins, you know, and steer it in a direction that I think can help people. It's ironic that the startup that I'm doing right now to help people helps people get jobs. And again, I'm not saying jobs are bad. I'm not saying working a 9 to 5 is the wrong move. That worked very well for my grandpa and for my dad. What I am saying, though, is that I personally want more than that. And I think I can provide more than that. I think my talents would be wasted working on PowerPoints and spreadsheets. Like, I want to use this free market to feed the hungry and clothe the cold, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing everything I can to spread love in what I believe is the most efficient way. You know, some people say effective altruism, the way is to do it is to like go and work as an investment banker and just donate a bunch of your earnings to a charity that does something positive. But what if you just make that charity? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have the skills to be an investment banker, like, maybe you should found your own charity and put those skills to work, you know? I think that would be more meaningful to the world than working on spreadsheets and PowerPoints. At least for me, I feel it is. Again, I'm really not trying to make this video to knock anyone who does a 9 to 5 or works in a corporate job. Again, I commend you, because that's something I can't do, you know? And everyone has different skill sets and adds value in different ways, but I do recognize that that's something that's hard to do. Showing up every day takes commitment and dedication, and well, I can show up if I think it's the right thing. I don't know if a 9 to 5 is for me. With that, I am in a position though where it's like all my friends who have 9 to 5s are doing great. Like, they're able to pay their bills, you know? And they seem to have some sort of social life, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess not every 9 to 5 is all consuming or soul sucking, but for me, I don't think there's anything more meaningful than the work I do at Fresumes and the work we're going to be doing in the future at at whatever the entity becomes. I just don't think my talents are best used in a corporate 9 to 5, climbing up the ranks of an office, you know? I don't think that's what I was born to do. Sit on a bench and just like mail it in, do my part, technically be part of the team, but like have no impact. Like I want to actually change things. I want to make things better. Again, I think the free market is incredibly powerful instrument for change, for spreading love, and I want to use it to its fullest extent and my fullest extent. It's been really hard recently because our startup doesn't have product market fit yet. We don't have revenue. Like, again, all my peers who I graduated college with, they went out and got jobs and like they're climbing the ranks, you know, they're saving for retirement, you know, paying their bills, like doing important shit. And one of my friends said something to me that really resonated, is that you got to take care of yourself before you can help everyone else. And that's true. But I feel like if I can take care of myself while it's helping everyone, then I want to do that. And I don't think I can do that from a 9 to 5. I think I would only be taking care of myself for the time being. But when I'm building this startup, like if it takes off, it's going to help me and it's going to help everyone else too. It's that classic dilemma where it's like, do you chase your dreams and do what you're passionate about and what you love, or do you chase a check and, you know, pursue financial freedom? And I guess what I'm trying to do is both. And it's hard. It's really hard. Like, don't let anyone tell you it isn't gonna be hard. It's hard as fuck. It might be the hardest thing you'll ever do. But I think it's worth it. This isn't someone who has $1 billion telling you, yeah, it all worked out okay, so it's worth it. This is someone who's broke, who's trying their fucking best with no success yet, who's saying it's worth it. For me, it's worth all the struggles that come with chasing your dreams just to be able to do it. And that might not always be the case for me, but right now it is worth it. And I guess I'm just grateful to not be sitting on a bench anymore, you know, to actually feel like a player in the game that is life. If I were sitting behind a desk for a minimum of 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, I would feel deeply unsatisfied. And I think the satisfaction alone of knowing you're doing what you're meant to do, and even if it doesn't work out, you tried, I think that's worth a lot. Not every risk you take is going to pay off. Not every company you start will succeed, but some of them will. And it's not about the outcome. It never has been. I think it's paid off even just knowing that I'm doing what I love and I'm doing my best to help people do what they love too, you know? I think comparison is the thief of joy, and I think the grass always looks greener. People in a 9 to 5, they want to go be an entrepreneur and they want to go have the freedom and they want to do this, that, and the third. And people who are entrepreneurs want to be stable, you know, have the financial stability that does come with a 9 to 5. And both are very real. And honestly, you kind of need to find that balance. Like, I do other work besides resumes, like part-time and gig work and whatever, to get by, to pay the bills, and that's okay for now. I'm okay doing that for the time being. What I'm not okay with is doing that without building towards something, or doing that forever. I don't think I could sit behind a desk for 40 years, you know? In the same place, in the same company. And I respect the fuck out of my grandpa and anyone else like him who is making that sacrifice for their family or for themselves. I think that's awesome and amazing, and I commend you. But I recognize I'm in an extreme place of privilege where people have made those sacrifices in the past, and I'm in a place where I can try to take it further. You know, my sacrifice isn't sitting in an office for 40 years. My sacrifice is starving in my 20s and being broke so that I can pay it forward when it does pay off to everyone, you know? I'm sacrificing short-term stability for long-term love and comfort and peace. I really want to use my skills in a positive way to help the world. And I don't think investment banking would do that, you know? And like, there's some happy mediums where it's like nonprofits and whatnot, but even at a nonprofit, you have someone telling you to do this, that, and the third, and you're taking orders. Like, I've always felt like a natural born leader, so I found it really hard to sit on a desk, sit behind a desk, or sit on a bench, you know? I want to be the one making the decisions. I want to be the one playing the game, you know? I don't want to let life pass me by and realize, oh my gosh, I'm 65 years old and all I have to show for it is my retirement portfolio. Like, I want to be able to look back when I'm 65 and be like, I fed these people, you know? I clothed these people. I gave these people shelter. Like, that's what I think is long lasting. Like, money comes and money goes, but like, the people you've helped and the lives you've touched, that is forever. That doesn't go away. If you are working that job right now and you have your head down and you're just, you know, moving forward and supporting your family and building, again, I commend the fuck out of you, because that's hard. That's so hard. I can't do that. But what I can do is endure some short-term pain for long-term pleasure. And when I have the pleasure, you know, when I've reached my goals, I want to make sure to pay it forward. I want to spread love, and I think you can do that more easily if you own your entity, like if you're a boss rather than a worker. And again, no disrespect. I want to emphasize this so much. No disrespect to anyone who is working their ass off and who does a 9 to 5 and who has their head down in those Excel sheets. Like, that's fucking sweet, dude. Because I can't do that, you know? Like, I respect that. For me, though, it feels like a waste of my potential. And whether my company succeeds or not, I'm going to be very happy looking back, knowing I at least tried. You know, I was willing to sacrifice the short-term pleasures of financial stability, climbing the corporate ladder, whatever. I forego that in order to build something greater. And it's so fucking hard. Like, just being honest, it's very difficult to do, but for me, it's worth it.